Howdy YouTube, today we're taking a look at the Marvel Spider-Man Carnage. A very cool looking figure. Carnage, one of my favourite Marvel characters of all time. This is a very rare figure released in the early 2000s. It does say he comes with Spider-Man trapping action, so that's going to be interesting to get that opened up. At the top in terms of packaging, it's just your standard Spider-Man shot. But this guy looks really cool. Always happy to get Carnage figures, and we'll get this guy open and hopefully give you a cool review. So here we have the back of the packaging. Obviously we see a shot of the figure with the spider trapping action at work there. A nice read-up, which is really just a generic read-up on Spider-Man, which is a bit of a shame. It would have been nice if they had given us a read-up of Carnage, but still, looking down there, the instructions on how to obviously use the spider trapping action. Other figures in the set, we've got Street Fighting Spider-Man, Web Attack Spider-Man. That one looks absolutely ridiculous. And then finally, at the very bottom, there's Spider Sense Attack Spider-Man. So much like the old 90s Batman figures, as many different varieties of Spider-Man as possible. But still, this guy's really cool. We'll get him opened up, and hopefully he's a decent figure. Okay, and here we have Carnage out of the packaging, and he looks fantastic. One of the things I always loved about Carnage was the red and black color scheme. I always thought it was fantastic, especially to watching the Spider-Man animated series from the 90s. The episodes with Carnage in it were fantastic. I'll bring it forward so you guys can take a look at the face. Some nice detail. The paint is a little bit messy, if I'm honest, but because it's Carnage, he does get away with it a little bit. Bit of a shame that there is that black dot there on the eye, but really, really nice. Moving down, he reminds me a little bit of the Carnage figure from the 90s animated series line. In terms of articulation, he's got a little bit of a weird arm setup. It's probably hard to see. Try and zoom in for you guys. But his arm is on a joint that's actually attached here. So in normal figures, it would move from sort of the shoulder area, but his are sort of out a little bit. So you get some weird movement in the arm. So a little bit interesting. He does have an ab crunch, which is really good to see. Swivel obviously in the waist. The fingers are articulated, which is actually really, really cool. Very nice to see that. And then obviously ball joint in the legs and bend in the knee. So I'm just going to bring in here one of the later Spider-Man Carnage figures that was released. This guy is pretty much the same figure in terms of articulation and movement. I'll flip it around so you guys can see the difference on the back. Obviously being a later release, the paint apps are much nicer on this guy. But essentially it is pretty much the exact same figure, just with a different face scan. So they're both the same height. So if I had to pick one out of these two, I'm probably going to go with the earlier Carnage. The main reason for that is I love the face scan on this guy as opposed to the later release. I was never a fan of the silver eyes, and I do like a lot more of the black color scheme that Carnage has got. Now in terms of accessories, he does come with this spider trap, which is pretty nice. There's some great detail on it. It looks a little bit like a rooftop, similar to what I suppose Spider-Man would land on. Basically, it comes with these little web Carnage symbiote type tabs that basically just click into place. What you do from there is basically fold these down. And I guess prep the trap. Okay, so we've got everything all set up. Spider-Man obviously landing on the rooftop. Now basically all you do is pull the Carnage head here, which actually looks really cool. I love how that's come out. It is attached to a string which is connected to the trap. So basically you pull that, and there you go. That's how you catch yourself a Spider-Man. So is it the best gimmick? Not really, if I'm honest. It is some great detail, and it does, I guess, make a good display base, especially if you take this stuff off. Ultimately, though, really cool set. I'd rather have this than just get the plain figure by itself. really happy with this Carnage. If you get a chance, you're a fan of Spider-Man, you're a fan of Carnage, really any of these guys is worth picking up, but certainly for the color scheme on this guy, I'm going to pick him. So if you get a chance, absolutely grab this guy.